Welcome to Claims Question. I'm Glennis. I am a public insurance adjuster, and Lord knows I don't want to say this, but for almost 38 years. And this is the place to come and ask any kind of questions in regards to your claim. This is specifically for fire survivors and those that love them. So if you're part of the LA fires or any other disaster and you have questions, this is the place. Comment below, let me know how I can love and support you. We're here to advocate for you, your friends, your family, your community, to make sure that you and your family does not get burned twice. So today I like to go over what is in your policy, specifically your dwelling coverage. So imagine this: you own a home, the mortgage broker says you have to have insurance, and you decide, I'm going to buy a policy, and you're looking to actually save money on that policy. Hopefully not, but all of a sudden you have a claim and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what my policy covers. Usually a homeowner's, this is what it should have. The dwelling coverage, which is one that I'm going to go over in details today, but it should be dwelling coverage, it should be your personal property, and then additional living expense or loss of use. But then when it gets trickier, my clients say, oh my gosh, okay, 3 is good, but then out of the 3, there's also all these other things. So on the dwelling, where the dwelling is concerned, you have the dwelling coverage. Let's say, as an example, you have $300,000 of dwelling coverage, okay? Then for the most part, other structure and most policies is gonna be 10%. So 30,000 on other structure. Depending on who the company is, for the dwelling, you have these other endorsements that are part of your dwelling coverage. One is usually code upgrades, and it depends on who the company is, the percentages. I've seen it as low as 10% all the way up to 50%. So 10% of the 300,000 would be 30,000 in code upgrades. And what does that even mean, code upgrades, right? Or law and ordinance, right? That's another word for code upgrades. So anything that involves a trade, meaning electrical, plumbing, mechanical, and it could be, as far as the framing. So what did they use back then in comparison to what they need now? Is it a truss system that needs to come in? All that will fall under code upgrades. So that 10% or 25% or 50% of code upgrades is usually a coverage that the insurance company not necessarily comes forth and tells you upfront that you have. And it's kind of, you need to come in pedaling backwards when the contractor that you choose says it's more than 300,000. You're looking to see where else there may be money. A public insurance adjuster, our job is to make sure that we put together not just the initial building estimate, but that we help you as far as working with a contractor and putting together the numbers so that you can collect the code upgrades. That's very important. What else is covered under the dwelling? So there's also debris removal, which is usually a 5%. There's usually trees and shrubs that are part of that coverage as well. And in some policies, you may have, there's different things that come into play, but as far as what is the standard on the dwelling policy, is usually that, is those coverages that I mentioned. If you want someone to take a look at your policy, if you were paid by your insurance company, just the limits on the dwelling, a lot of people, we represented a little over 300 families from Paradise. And I would call these families after, a few months, some even a couple of years later after the claim. And I would say to them, did you know that you had this coverage and your insurance company actually owes you and you can actually collect these coverages? And they would say, excuse me. They, for the most part, thought I was a scammer. They did not know that they had this coverage, and they sure didn't know how to go about getting that coverage. What we do as public insurance adjusters, our job is to advise. Advise in what? It's on what's inside your policy. In this case, I'm specifically concentrating on the dwelling coverage, but then there is also on that policy personal property or contents is another word for that same coverage. And a lot of insurance companies, they like to make homeowners feel that when they pay 50% or 75%, that they have gotten all their money. Well, if I bought 100% of something and that something is completely gone, I want to be paid that 100% of everything I had the day of the fire. That's obviously what I'm entitled to. You probably wouldn't have sold me that coverage if you didn't think I had that coverage. So definitely what we do as public insurance adjusters is help you collect the difference. There's also usually on a homeowner's policy, additional living expense. And what does that even mean? And I won't go into details in this video in regards to additional living expense, but it is the money that you would need to go live someplace else. So there is the dwelling, there's the personal property, and then there is additional living expense or loss of use. Let me know how I can support you and your family. We do free evaluations of your claim. If you're part of the LA fires, even the fires in Hawaii, the Park Fire in California, any type of fire where you may need support. I'm licensed in 9 different states. Like I said, I know I'm dating myself, and I've been doing this 37 years, going on 38 years this year. I would love to be able to support you and answer any questions that you may have in regards to your claim. Let me know. We're here to love and support you and get you paid all of your money. There's no reason to leave money on the table, especially not from the insurance company. I'm licensed by the state, I'm bonded, insured, and I'm here to protect your family and to make sure you get all of your money. Comment below. Let me know how I can support you. Thank you.